Hello and welcome to the second of our Quiz the Nation COVID-19 lockdown specials. If you watched last Sunday, then it's great to have you back. And if you're new to the show, then thank you very much for joining us. We hope you enjoy yourselves. Now, in better times, when we're not locked down, we broadcast Quiz the Nation into selected pubs. And players there use our special Quiz the Nation app to make their answers. But you don't need an app tonight, just a pencil and paper. There are 5 rounds this evening, each very different from the other. And each one has 8 questions, and each of the answers, if correct, is worth 1 point. There are also 4 special spot prize questions, and each of those correct answers is worth 2 points. Now, just before we start the show, may I ask you, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe to our channel. That would be brilliant if you wouldn't mind doing that. And before round 1, I'm going to give you first sight of the first spot prize, which is going to be able to be answered at the end of round 1, so you can be working out what your answer is during the round. So, good luck, have fun, and I'll speak to you very soon. And here is that first spot prize question. In tonight's first round, which movie was the third option shown for question number 2? Now, that doesn't mean a great deal yet, but it will at the end of this first round. Odd one out. Round 1 is called Odd One Out. Each question is going to be a picture, and that picture will be made up of parts of 3 other pictures. When I show you the 4 options at the end of the question, all you need to do is pick out the option that was not part of the picture. So, for example, if it's a face made up of 3 parts of different faces, then when you see the options, you just need to pick out the option that is not represented in the picture. Or if it's a cityscape made up of parts of 3 different cities, when you see the options, pick out the option that is not represented in the picture. It's quite simple when you get started. So let's start with question number 1. Question 1 is a face, and here's the first part of that face. And the second part. And the third part. Have you recognised those parts of faces? Well, here they are all together. Who's in that face? And here's the question. Which of the options is not part of the face? Question number 2. It's a film poster made up of parts of 3 film posters. Can you recognise which posters are represented there? Here are your options. Which of these is not part of that film poster? Question 3. It's a flag made up of parts of 3 different flags. Now, when we talk about countries with flags, we're also talking about protectorates and island states. So which country's flag doesn't feature? Here's the options. Make your choice. Question 4, car logos. 3 car company logos represented there. Which ones? And from these 4 options, pick the one that is not part of that picture. Question 5, a face again. First part of the face, the second part, and the third part. And here's all the parts put together. Whose face is part of that picture? Well, here's some options. You need to pick the person who isn't part of the picture, who is not part of the picture. Question 6, film posters again. Parts of 3 posters represented there. Which films? And from these options, pick the film that is not represented. Question 7. Football club logos. Do you recognise them? 3 logos represented there. But which of these options is not represented in the picture? Final question, it's a face again. Here's the first part of the face. And the second part. And the third part. Put all those parts together and there is the face. Now, who's represented there? And more to the point, which of these options is not represented? And that's the end of all of the questions for round 1, and each correct answer will be worth 1 point. I'm now going to give you a chance to answer the first spot prize question, and a correct answer here is worth 2 points. And here's the first spot prize question, which I trailed earlier. In tonight's first round, which movie was the third option shown for question number 2? Here's the options. Make your choice. Now, before I go through all of the answers for round 1 and the spot prize, I'm going to give you 1 minute to tidy up your answer paper and get it ready for marking. So let's go with the answers. Question number 1, the person not featured in the picture was Jack Lemmon. Question number 2, the film not featured, The Mirror Cracked. Question 3, the flag not featured was the flag of Iceland. Question 4, car logos. The car logo not there, Maserati. Question 5, who wasn't featured in the picture? Well, Yul Brynner. Question 6. Which film wasn't featured? Flight. Question 7. Football club logos. Chesterfield wasn't part of that logo. And question number 8. Who wasn't there? Rita Ora. Now let's go with the answer to the spot prize question. Correct answer? Scream 4. Now, round 2 is mental agility, and if you played last week, you'll understand how this works. But if you're new to the show, let me explain. I'm going to show you 9 pictures of musicians or groups. And as I show you the picture, I will tell you one fact about the person or group in that picture. Now, that fact will not appear again, so please make notes while I read them out. Then each of the pictures will go into one of 9 boxes. I'll then ask you about the positional relationships of the boxes, the musicians and groups in the boxes, and of course their facts. Ready? Here we go then, with round 2, mental agility. In box number 1 we have Ed Sheeran. Fact, born in Yorkshire and grew up in Suffolk, he once slept a few nights on the streets outside Buckingham Palace, inspiring his song Homeless. Box 2, Frank Sinatra. A 42-cent stamp was produced by the US Postal Service in May 2008 to honour his contribution to American culture. Box 3, Sam Smith. He won both the 2014 Brits Critics' Choice Award and the BBC Sound of 2014 poll before even releasing a debut album. Beyoncé, she won a school talent show at the age of 7, singing John Lennon's Imagine, beating 15 and 16-year-olds to the prize. Box 5, Shirley Bassey. She was awarded France's top honour, the Légion d'honneur, in 1999 to recognise her popularity and importance to the culture of France. In Box 6, Adele. In June 2013, she was awarded an MBE for services to music in the Queen's Birthday Honours. Box 7, it's Maroon 5. The band have won 3 Grammy Awards out of 9 nominations, 1 in 2005, 1 in 2006 and 1 in 2008. In Box 8, Led Zeppelin, disbanded on the 4th of December 1980 following the death of their drummer John Bonham. And finally Box 9, Kings of Leon. The band is made up of 3 brothers, Caleb, Nathan and Jared Followill, and their cousin Matthew Followill. Let's put all those musicians clearly into their boxes and ask an example question. Which number box contains the person who was awarded France's highest honour? Well, the person is Shirley Bassey, and the box is box number 5. Example question number 2. Who is in the box below the box containing the person who won a talent show singing a John Lennon song? Well, that person was Beyoncé, and below her in box 7 is Maroon 5. So the answer, Maroon 5. Question number 1. Whose fact included being awarded an MBE? Here's the options. Make your choice. Question 2. Who is in the box 2 to the right of the person whose fact included grew up in Suffolk? There are your options. Question 3. Which of the options about to appear was part of the fact relating to the person in box 2? Question 4. Which person is in the box above the group whose fact contained the death of their drummer? Here are your options. Question 5. Which box contains the person who won the BBC Sound of 2014 poll? Here's your options. Question 6. Whose fact included John Lennon's Imagine? And your options. Question 7. Which box is one to the left of the box containing the person whose fact contained services to music? Options. And finally, question number 8. Which of the options about to appear was part of the fact about the person in the box above the box containing the group whose fact included 3 Grammy Awards? And your options. Well, that's the end of all of the questions for mental agility. Hopefully not as hard as you might have first thought. Now, before I go through the answers, I'm going to give you a chance to answer the second spot prize question, which I trailed at the beginning of this round. Are you ready? Here it comes. In the mental agility round this evening, who is in the box 2 below box 2? And your options? Make a choice. Now I'm going to give you a minute to tidy up your answer papers and then hand them over to someone else to mark, or of course, get ready to mark them yourselves. Okay, you ready? Here come the answers to round number 2 and the answer to the spot prize question. Question number 1. The correct answer, Adele. Question 2, Sam Smith. Question 3. The answer, his contribution. Question 4, Shirley Bassey. Question 5, box 3. Question 6, Beyonce. Question 7, box 5. Question 8, 15 and 16-year-olds. Each of those correct answers was worth 1 point. Now the answer to the spot prize question, which is worth 2 points. Led Zeppelin for 2 points. Now, just before the next round, which we call intelligence, I'm going to give you sight of the third spot prize question, which you'll be able to answer at the end of this third round. And the third spot prize question is this. What's next in this series? 17.01, 13.13, 10.25, 8.37, and I want the next number. Now in this intelligence round, I'm going to ask you 5 lateral thinking logic problems. First of all, I'm going to read them out, and then I'm going to give you 3 minutes to think about all of the answers before I then give you the opportunity to choose from 4 options for each of the questions. So, get ready, get your thinking caps on. Here comes logic problem number 1. Question number 1. What position in a race will you be if you overtake the second placed person? Question number 2. Mary's mother has 4 daughters. The first is called April, the second is called May, the third is called June. What is the 4th child called? Question 3. If A2, D2, U3, A1, O4, E1 spells beware, what does O5, A3, O4, A1, O2, E1 spell? Question 4. If minus 40 is equivalent to minus 40 and 5 is equivalent to 41, what is 20 equivalent to? And question 5. Complete this series of special, and I underline special, numbers. 17, 19, 23, 29. What's the next number? Now, they're all clear on the screen for you now. I'm going to give you 3 minutes to work them out. Then I'll come back and give you the option to answer them. Okay, that's the end of the thinking time. Here comes the opportunity to answer logic problem number 1. What position in a race will you be if you overtake the second placed person? Here are your options. Question 2. Mary's mother has 4 daughters. The first is called April, the second is called May, the third is called June. What's the fourth child called? There are the options. Question 3. If A2, D2, U3, A1, O4, E1 spells beware, what does O5, A3, O4, A1, O2, E1 spell? Here are your options. Question 4. If minus 40 is equivalent to minus 40 and 5 is equivalent to 41, what is 20 equivalent to? There are your options. And finally, question number 5. Complete this series of special numbers. 17, 19, 23, 29. There are the options. Make your choice. Right, before I go through the answers, I'm going to give you a chance to answer spot prize question 3, which I trailed earlier. Here it comes. What's next in this series? 17.01, 13.13, 10.25, 8.37. Here's the options. Now I'm going to give you a minute to tidy up your answer papers and then hand them over to someone else to mark, or of course, get ready to mark them yourselves. Are you ready? Here we go then with the answers for the intelligence round. And in this round, each correct answer is worth 2 points. Question number 1, the answer, second. If you overtake the person in second position, you take their place and you become second. Question 2. Mary's mother had 4 daughters. The fourth daughter was called Mary because Mary's mother had 4 daughters. Question 3, the correct answer is scrape. And the code, A2 becomes B, A3 would become C, D2 is E, and so on. Question 4, the answer, 68. It is centigrade to Fahrenheit, and the clue is that minus 40 is where both scales meet. And the series of special numbers, correct answer 31, they were special because they are all prime numbers, and the next prime number was 31. And now the answer to spot prize question number 3, where the answer is also worth 2 points. What was next in the series? Well, the answer, 7.49. The numbers before the decimal point were going down in a reducing number, 4, 3, 2. And the numbers after the decimal point were going up by 12. Now, before we go into round 4 observation, I'm going to give you first sight of spot prize question 4, which is the last spot prize question, which you'll be able to answer at the end of round 4 observation. Here it is. At the start of tonight's observation round video, our presenter said that he had moved to Hollywood from Knightswood in Glasgow about how many years ago? Now, in this fourth round observation, I'm going to show you a video shot for us by a very good friend of Quiz the Nation. Please listen carefully and watch everything that you see, because at the end of the round, I'm going to be asking 8 questions about anything that you saw and heard.
Hello Quiz the Nation, I'm Ross King and here we are in, yep, you've guessed it, Hollywood. Now I moved here to Hollywood from Knightswood in Glasgow about 15 years ago, and every single morning right here from my north terrace I can gaze up and look at that incredible iconic sign. The world famous sign is on Mount Lee. It's made from letters that are approximately 45 feet high and it's over 350 feet long. It was initially created back in 1923 for a housing development. It actually said Hollywood Land, but has since become synonymous with the movie industry here in Los Angeles. One sad note is that back in September 1932, a starlet, Peg Entwistle, jumped to her death from the letter H. Okay then, while you're here, let's go take a look around. Los Angeles is the second biggest city in the USA and is home to just under 4 million people. The city covers an area of 472 square miles, with the whole county covering 4,084 square miles and boasting 75 miles of coastline. Well, here is the most exclusive shopping street, Rodeo Drive. It actually sits mainly in the city of Beverly Hills. Originally, the area was purchased to include a subdivision of the Los Angeles and Pacific Railway. But in 1967, Fred Heyman, known as the father of Rodeo Drive, opened the street's first high-end boutique, Giorgio Beverly Hills, swiftly followed by Gucci in 1968, and so a shopping paradise was born. At the end of Rodeo Drive is the fabulous Beverly Wilshire Hotel. The penthouse was one of the settings for the 1990 film Pretty Woman, starring Richard Gere and Julia Roberts. Well, that's it from me here in Hollywood. Hopefully you've been paying close attention to those facts and figures, because right now, here come the questions.
Thank you, Ross. Brilliant. Now, 8 questions about what you've seen and heard in Hollywood from Ross. Question number 1. What colour shirt was Ross wearing? Here are your options. Question 2. From which of his terraces did Ross say he can gaze up and look at that incredible iconic sign every morning? Here are the options. Question 3. The letters in the sign are approximately 45 feet high. Ross told us that the whole sign was over how many feet long? Here are the options. Question 4. Ross told us that Peg Entwistle, a Hollywood starlet, jumped to her death from one of the letters of the sign in September 1932. Which letter? Here's the options. Question 5. LA is the second biggest city in the USA. Just under how many million people did Ross say it was home to? There are your options. Question 6. What sign was on the lamppost immediately below the Rodeo Drive name sign when we first saw it? Your options. Question 7. How many miles of coastline did Ross say the whole county boasted? Here are your options. And the final question. We saw 4 sports cars outside the Gucci store. 3 of them were the same principal colour. What colour was the 4th? Take your pick from these options. Well, that's all the questions in the observation round. I'm now going to give you a chance to answer the fourth and final spot prize question, which, as usual, is worth 2 points. At the start of tonight's observation round video, Ross said that he'd moved to Hollywood from Knightswood in Glasgow about how many years ago? Here are your options. Well, that's all of the questions for the observation round and, of course, the final spot prize question. So I'm going to give you a minute again to tidy up your answer papers and, if you can, swap them with someone else for marking or, of course, as usual, just mark them yourselves. Are you ready? Here come the answers for round 4, the observation round. Each correct answer being worth 1 point. Question 1. The colour of the shirt was blue. Question 2. Which terrace is North Terrace? Question 3. 350 feet. Question 4, it was the letter H from which she jumped. Question 5, just under 4 million people. Question 6, it said one way. Question 7, how many miles of coastline? 75. And the final question, question 8, the other car's colour was blue. That's all of the answers for the observation round. Now the answer for the final spot prize question, which, as usual, is worth 2 points. And the correct answer for 2 points was 15 years. Keep that running total score going, because we're coming into the final round, round 5, general knowledge with a difference. For each of the questions in this final round, general knowledge with a difference, I'm going to show you a picture. Take 10 seconds to study that picture and see what you can recognise. I will then ask you a question which relates to that picture. And then, as usual, offer you 4 options from which to choose the correct answer. Let's get started with question number 1. What do you recognise on this picture? Well, here's the question. This bridge, completed in 1826 to join an island off the UK to the mainland for the first time, has towers built of Penman limestone. Which famous engineer designed it? Here are your options. Question 2. Do you recognise this plant? Here comes a question. This plant is a scourge to people in parks and woods across the UK. Which acid causes the initial pain when the plant is touched? Here come your options. Make your choice. Question 3. Do you recognise this building? Here comes the question. The iconic building seen in this picture was designed by Frank Gehry and is a popular tourist attraction in which European capital city? Here come the options. Make your choice. Question 4. A flag. Do you recognise the country to which it belongs? Here comes the question. This flag serves a country with coasts on both an ocean and a sea, which has a 5-letter capital and was a French protectorate until 1956. To which country does the flag belong? Here are your options. Make your choice. Question 5. Do you recognise this building? Here's the question. This building is approximately 48 metres high and, according to its builders, could accommodate 87,000 people when first built. In which city could you visit it? Here are the options. Make your choice. Question 6. A logo. Do you recognise which company that is the logo of? The brand this logo represented ceased to exist in 2011 when the car manufacturing giant that owned it consolidated its offering. An entry-level premium brand for most of its existence, what was it called? Here's the options. Question 7. Do you recognise that? Here's the question. The bridge and island featured here are part of a 16-kilometre long connection that comprises 3 sections, an 8-kilometre bridge, a 4-kilometre artificial island and a 4-kilometre tunnel. Which 2 European cities does it connect? There's the options. Question 8. Do you recognise that building? This tower building forms part of the iconic skyline of a lakeside US city with over 2.7 million residents. What is the name of the international airport that serves this city? Here are your options. Final question, make your choice. That's it. The end of the round, the end of the contest. But before we can finish, I need to give you all of the answers for round 5. So before I do that, I'll give you the usual minute to tidy up your answer paper and swap with someone else for marking, or just prepare to mark it yourself. So here we go with the answers to round number 5.
The engineer, Thomas Telford. And it's the Menai Suspension Bridge which joins Anglesey to North Wales. Question 2, the answer, it's formic acid. This, of course, is the common stinging nettle. Where's a dock leaf when you need one? Question 3, the city, Prague. And the building is known as the Dancing House or Fred and Ginger. Question 4, the flag serves Morocco. And the 5-letter capital of Morocco is Rabat. Question 5, the city, you'd see it in Rome. And the Colosseum in Rome is also called the Flavian Amphitheatre. The logo was Mercury. Now, Mercury was created in 1938, and the car giant was Ford. The 2 cities, Copenhagen and Malmö, and the combined railway and motorway bridge is called the Øresund Bridge. Question 8. The airport, O'Hare, and the city is of course Chicago, and the building is the Chase Tower.
So that's it, the end of this second Quiz the Nation COVID-19 lockdown special. I do hope you've enjoyed yourselves, and if you have, please tell all of your friends and join us again as we play the 3rd show next Sunday. And before you go, please take the opportunity to subscribe to our channel. That really will be brilliant. So until next week, keep safe and keep well. See you next Sunday.